everyone, welcome to this POV review by AutoTopNL. My name is Max and today we have a new 2017 BMW 5 Series G30, so the new model. And we are here today to review this car in sort of a real world setting, because we drove this car, of course, in Portugal at the press release, and we had a 530D X-Drive and a 540i. So that was really a cool setting, you know, in the sun, beautiful roads in Portugal, with two of the top of the line models, the most powerful diesel and the most powerful petrol version at the time, and they were really fully loaded, so every option imaginable was fitted on those cars. So today we have a 520D and it's sort of more of a realistic version, so we don't have every imaginable option. We even have the regular key. So you can also get that new key with the screen, with the touch screen and the info and the park assist and stuff like that. And this is just a regular key. So I quite like that because this is a lot more realistic. The 520D is also the model I think will be sold most here in the Netherlands. So let's do a lap around the car. We have it in lovely dark blue color with 19-inch wheels, which honestly look like they're 17-inch, but they're 19, with this ugly luxury line badge. I really don't like it. It's very unnecessary on a 5 Series. I mean, we know it's luxurious. We have the new headlights, of course, with those new LED daytime lights. LED lighting is standard on this car. You can also get adaptive lighting as an option. We have these vents which open when the engine needs more cooling. What else? We have a sunroof, those new rear lights, of course, which kind of fold over to the side. I think they're beautiful with that new shape, of course. And new on this 5 Series G30 is that we have two exhaust tips, one on each side, both round, of course, and that's sort of the new direction BMW is heading. So the base models have these exhausts. The models sort of in the middle have the trapezium shaped exhaust, and the top of the line models have the more rectangular exhaust. So I quite like that because, you know, a 5 Series should look good, and if you get rid of that 520D badge, I mean, this would just look like a cool 5 Series. Okay, so let's get in. And on the inside we have some very nice leather, this sort of tan leather with wood, and you know, this is just very impressive. The interior is really nice and a lot like the interior on the 7 Series. We also have a charging station down here, and we have an automatic gearbox, the 8-speed ZF, of course, and the 520D is actually the only one you can get with a manual gearbox. Why? I don't know, because you should really get an automatic gearbox, but you can get it. So as I said, this car does not have every imaginable option. So we don't have the adaptive suspension, we just have Sport, Comfort and Eco Pro. We don't have the stupid gesture control. We don't have any adaptive driving assistance, so we just have cruise control, not even adaptive. And I think, again, this is a lot more realistic. This is the way a lot of people are going to spec their 5 Series, and therefore I think it's interesting to drive this and not only the ones fitted with every option. So let's go for a drive. Okay, so as you can hear, the engine is very quiet, and that's also because they use their new sound deafening system in the engine bay, so there's very little sound coming from the engine bay or from the road or from the wind. and that's a very relaxing experience. This is a 4-cylinder engine, so it's a 2-liter with 190 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque, which will catapult this car from 0 to 100 kph in 7.5 seconds, onwards to a top speed of 235, which isn't impressive, but as you will experience, it's absolutely adequate, and it really doesn't feel sluggish or heavy or anything like that. You could also get a 530D, of course, with a 6-cylinder, but price-wise, this car is much more interesting because, for example, here in the Netherlands, a 530D is 15,000 euros more expensive than this car, and I don't know if that's worth getting a 6-cylinder, because you could also get this car and spec it more to your liking, so get a few more options, and I don't really know if the 530D 6-cylinder is that much better. So if you want to hear more about the 5 Series G30 in general, I can recommend watching the POV reviews we made with the 530D and the 540i in Portugal. Click on the top right corner for one of those, and that is a more comprehensive review of the 5 Series in general. So now we're going to focus on the 520D. So as I said, the acceleration and top speed numbers might not be that impressive, but actually in everyday life, in the real world, this is more than adequate to cope with anything you'd want, because up until 200 kph it's not even that slow. We just did a top speed run on the autobahn, and the top speed is 235 kilometers an hour, and we managed to get there, but you do need about 4 to 5 kilometers of empty autobahn to be able to do that. Especially after 200, it really starts dying, and that is the big difference with a 6-cylinder. So the 530D will keep on pulling until the speed limiter. So handling wise, it's a typical BMW. It feels like a real BMW, but with an emphasis on comfort. So especially on a 520D, which will be used mainly for commuting, I think that's the right choice, and it's absolutely fantastic to drive this car like this on normal roads. It's really, really comfortable. It's really, really relaxing, and I think the fact that this is a 4-cylinder and it's so supple and easy to drive, and it's smooth, and it doesn't have that 4-cylinder diesel sound or character. I think the fact that it's so close to a 6-cylinder really begs the question if you still should get a 530D, because this is just so good already. And I can hear you thinking, but Max, what if you have bought a BMW because you want that BMW handling? Well, let's test that out as well. This in sport, let's put this in sport as well. We don't have flappy pedals, which I think is brilliant, because who needs flappy pedals in a 520D? No one does. They are really overdoing it with those. So on roads like this, I mean, it's just incredible how well this car handles and how light it feels, especially in the nose, because you don't have that heavy 6-cylinder diesel engine in the front like we had in Portugal with the 530D, which you could really feel. And even these speed bumps, I mean, you can go over them with considerable speed. And when you floor it, I mean, it's not fast or anything, but it will get you there. Brakes are nice too. So grip levels are very high, especially on the front axle. You can also get X-Drive on the 520D, but I don't know why you would get that, because there's just a lot of grip, and the X-Drive version is even a tenth of a second slower to 100 kph because it's heavier. So all in all, I think in the past people went for 530Ds instead of 520Ds because of the 6-cylinder, because a 6-cylinder diesel is just a lot smoother and quieter than a 4-cylinder diesel. But I think with this new 520D, that point has become sort of invalid, because this engine is so good and quiet and smooth that I don't really see a reason to get the 6-cylinder anymore. I think you would be better off if you just got a 520D and spec'd it to your liking. For instance, get the ceramic interior stuff, because this is all plastic, and you get that black shiny stuff which just feels really, really good. You know, stuff like that, stuff you really use, like these comfort seats, which are really, really, really great, and they emphasize the comfortable character of this car. If you like a more sporty looking 5 Series, you can also get an M Sport pack, but that's not really under the skin of the car anymore. That's just exterior stuff. You can also get the adaptive suspension, but the sport setting in that suspension is still not really firm or sporty. So I think because this is a 520D, you don't really need that sporty stuff, and I think that will save you a lot of money you can spend on comfortable stuff. So that was it for this BMW 5 Series G30 520D. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet up here, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for regular updates. Thanks guys, see you at the next one. Bye.